everyone, it's CL. So for today's video, I have a little bit of an office supply haul. I went to Staples because they're having their annual back to school sale. And honestly, I think Staples is really like underrated. I know Staples is not nearly as popular as it once was. Every time I'm in a Staples, there's like me and like one other person. I have never seen Staples crowded. As far as like the people that work there, every time I've been there, there's been like 2 workers. It's definitely not as popular as it once was. Now with the emergence of like online shopping and Amazon, not a lot of people go to Staples anymore, but I have to say their back to school supply sale is something that if you have a Staples in your area, it's definitely worth checking out. Not only is like school supplies on sale, but like if you walk around Staples, like their office supplies are also on sale. So if you have a Staples in your area, definitely check it out. So as far as like the things I purchased today, I did go to their back to school sale last year and loaded up on a bunch of notebooks, and I ended up throughout the year using all of the notebooks I bought. So this year I loaded up on 8 spiral bound notebooks. I think I bought like 10 notebooks. We're using 2 already. I got some for myself and some for my daughter, and the things I bought today aren't just for me, it's like for me and my daughter. But as far as spiral notebooks, like these were so cheap, and I am contemplating like, should I get more spiral notebooks because they were so cheap. And I use these a lot throughout the year, and I do have plans for these notebooks. One thing I wanted to start this year is something that I've attempted to start many times, but I just feel, I'll do a whole different video about this, but I just feel kind of silly when I do it. I want to try to start like manifestation exercises. So as far as these notebooks, I think these are like a good way to start some of the manifestation exercises, at least like attempt it. But that will be a whole different video. And a little bit of a fun fact, when I first started journaling, my journals were in spiral bound notebooks just like these. Because obviously when you're little, you don't have your own money and you can't like go to the store whenever you want. And when we did go to the store, it was to buy office school supplies, and I would always take like an extra spiral bound notebook like this, and I would make it my journal. So that's a little bit of a fun fact as far as like my journaling journey. So these are a couple of things that my daughter picked up. She picked up a little folder, and also she really likes these little notepads. These are really handy to have, especially if you're a person that likes to jot down notes and make lists. And it's just like these small little notepads that are like spiral bound, and you can take notes. And this is just a composition book that my daughter picked out that she's going to use for something. And at Staples, they had so many composition books on sale. So if you are someone who likes composition books, definitely grab a handful. I didn't pick up any this year because the things I want to do, the spiral notebooks will kind of serve as purpose for the things I want to do. Okay, so this little notebook here, it's like little note. It's just basic. You have like little pages here. I always like to have in my bag a notebook and pen because you never know when it comes in handy. And not only that, if you're in a place where there's like a wait for something, like just recently I had to get my car serviced and I was just kind of waiting around. Yes, I could have like looked up things on my phone and read things on my phone, but sometimes you just want to be in like a paper and pen mood and just like jot things down, jot down ideas, just want to take notes regarding something. So I bought this specifically for my everyday bag. So one thing that my daughter and I got into this year and last year, 2020, were erasable pens. I think what got me started in erasable pens is the Rocket notebook. So if you don't know what a Rocket notebook is, it's like a notebook that you can reuse, and then the pens you use are like erasable. So that's what started me on my erasable pen journey, and I have since purchased many erasable pens since then, and my daughter journals with erasable pens. So the erasers that come with those erasable pens aren't very great, so I ended up getting the very big pink erasers because these will definitely come in handy. And these are some things that I took for granted in school. They were always so cheap, but at the same time I'm like, ugh, it's just so boring. It's pink. I want the cool ones. I want the cute ones that look like animals. And now that I'm older, I'm like, look how much eraser you get for such a little price. Come on now. little notebooks, one for me, one for my daughter. So this notebook in particular, can you already see that like all these notebooks I already have plans for them? So this particular size notebook that I'm going to use is for when I'm working, because a lot of times when you're working during the day, random thoughts will pop in my head, whether that be like ideas or questions or things I want to look up later or things I need to do later. And then sometimes when you're in the middle of the workday, you're doing your tasks for work and you're thinking about work, and these are just like passing thoughts that you have that you tell yourself like, oh, after work I'm gonna remember to write that down, and I never remember to do it. And then later I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember where I said I was gonna do this, or I remember this idea that I thought about weeks ago and it just now once again popped in my head. So this is for when I'm working. I'm gonna use it as like a brain dump throughout the day. So I'll just have like the page, and as thoughts flow through my mind throughout the day while I'm working, I'm gonna jot them down right away, and this will be my my brain dump notebook where I just am messy and will write down all these little notes on the pages, whatever pops in my head. And then later on the weekend when I have time, I will organize whatever thoughts I have, whether that be like tasks I need to do, I'll put that on the calendar. Ideas I have, I'll put that in my journal, like to make a goal on how to like execute that idea. It's a brain dump notebook, so that's what I'm gonna use it for. Of course, with stationery, you can't walk away without pens. So I got these two boxes right here. Were just basic pens, black pens. This had like a soft grip. It was only like $1 something. So I bought a box of pens for like $1 something. Black pens, these are really smooth. One of my favorite basic pens. I just bought another pack. Now I have like a pen conspiracy in my home. You know how like there's that thing where when you do the laundry, you're always like missing socks, like pairs of socks, and you're convinced that the dryer is eating the socks? Well, I have a little bit of a pen conspiracy to where for whatever reason, I can't keep track of all my pens. Some I definitely use up, but there's that other side where like, I don't know where my pens are disappearing to, and it's not like I have like a majorly huge place or anything. I just use a pen, I put it down, and I somehow eventually lose pens. I'm not sure what the deal is, and that is something that has happened my entire life. No matter how many pens I have, I gradually misplace all of them. And where do they go? I have no idea. Okay, so this is why I say if you have a Staples, definitely check out their sale they're having, and don't just stay in like the school supply section. Walk around all of Staples and look in all the different sections, because some things are marked down so drastically. So for example, so I bought like two of these planner looking things here, right? This one says make it happen, where you essentially write down your goals. This one says great ideas across the front. So this one that says ideas has lined papers in the front, and in the back it has like grid paper, but it's essentially a journal that you can use for your ideas. And then this one here is called Make It Happen, and this is like a notebook that you're supposed to use for your goals. Now this one, I think the reason why they had it on clearance is because the first page has calendars for 2018, 2019. And obviously we're halfway through 2021, but what is kind of cool is that it's only this page that has like the outdated calendar on it. All the other pages are blank to where you can fill in the date yourself. You can put in the day of the month yourself, like write it in yourself. So even though one page has like the outdated calendar, if you take that page out, all the other pages are still new and current that you can use for the current year. You can jot down your goals. These were like $2 each or so, and I wouldn't have bought them if they weren't on a clearance, because I do have like a bullet journal. But since they were, I thought these were a really good deal for what they were and how much they cost. So also at Staples, I purchased this fitness journal. It says don't quit on the front. And this was also about like $2.30 or something like that. Now what I liked about this journal, all the pages are essentially the same, but what I like, I'm not sure if this is clear on the camera, but what I like about this fitness journal is that it's a goal every day. Like, so today I can write in, like, my goal is to lift weights for 5 minutes. And that's a goal that I can put in my planner for the day. So I like how open it is as far as like putting a daily goal down. Like, so if my goal is to lift weights for just 5 minutes today, then I can put that for my daily goal for the day. And the planner has like a motivational check-in, like how am I feeling today? How much water did you drink? What are you grateful for? All in all, today was blank. So It's more like daily focus, which I like, and I can control how much I'm doing because, you know, as far as my mood, it really ranges. Like some days I'm feeling really motivated. Some days I'm essentially forcing myself to be productive and dragging myself out of bed, and 5 minutes of exercise that day is like a big deal because my intention was just to not do anything. So if I can do 5 minutes of a workout, you know, I call that a successful goal. So yeah, and I like how it also leaves the page. So it has your goal setting here on this side, but then on the next page, it's like you make a journal entry of like how you felt that day, how'd you do, and I think that'll be good for me because like I can kind of talk through like how I'm feeling that day. Maybe I force myself to work out the day and I can kind of get my feelings out on the page, and I'm kind of curious if I stick with it. I think I'll be able to see like how my attitude changes. Like I've been forcing myself to work out. Will it change? If I'm consistent, will it change down the line to where I'm feeling really good about it? Who knows, but this was $2 for like a fitness journal. That's a really good deal. Okay, lastly, I purchased a basic spiral bound notebook because I have plans for this notebook. Now, one of my favorite holiday movies is called The Last Holiday, and it stars like Queen Latifah, and LL Cool J is also part of that movie. Now in the movie, now it's not much of a spoiler because it happens at the very beginning of the movie, and it's kind of the premise of the story. So the main character, played by Queen Latifah, when she finds out that she doesn't have long to live, she pulls out like a spiral bound notebook. I think in the movie it was white. But she's going through this mourning phase where she flips open her notebook and she kind of flips through all the pages of like all her one days. Like one day she wanted to own like a restaurant. One day she hopes to fall in love, and she's just kind of flipping through this notebook of all her one days, and she's just feeling sad, and it's such like a sad moment in the movie because she just gets word that she's dying, and she's flipping through her one day notebook with the sense of like, these things will never come to be because I'm going to die. Oh, which is so sad. But if you have not watched the movie, highly recommend you watch the movie, whether you have to like rent that on iTunes or wherever you have to rent it. Definitely watch this movie. I was gonna rent it this weekend, but I was like, no, we're not even near the holidays yet. I should at least wait till October before I like rent this movie. But one of my favorite movies. But anyways, the purpose of me buying this spiral bound notebook is because from that movie, ever since I seen like her one day notebook, I've always wanted to create one myself, because like I also want a one day notebook and kind of flip through it. Like one day I also want a house, one day I want to do this, I want to do that. And in hers she kept like, she had like pictures, and I wanted to include like inspiration photos for when I do get a house one day, like what kind of home decor I hope to have one day. I can add that to my one day notebook. I just remember that scene from the movie, that it was sad, but it was also nice to see all the things that were important to her in this notebook, and she included pictures, and it really resonated, like her hopes and her dreams of the things she hopes to have one day. And which sounds so sad in the context of the movie, but if you've actually watched that movie, you won't feel too sad about it. So yeah, that's why I bought this notebook, because I finally want to create my one day notebook. And it kind of goes back to how I want to start like manifestation exercises, and in a sense it's kind of like a manifestation notebook. Essentially I'm kind of like outlining my vision of the things that I want to manifest. So hopefully you'll see it more down the line, and I'll actually have pages to show you of like my notebook. But anyways, that is my Staples haul for today. If you have a Staples in your area, it's definitely worth it to check out what they have for sale, and go there today if you can, because their back to school sale doesn't necessarily last for a very long time. And when it comes to office supplies, like now is the time to stock up. And if you think like, oh, I'm not going to use all these notebooks, you'd be surprised. At least for me, if you are a journaler, if you are a list person, you absolutely will use all those notebooks throughout the year. Anyway, but that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, give me a like, subscribe, check out the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.